नमस्कार, मी श्रावण हर्डीकर. सध्या नोंदणी महानिरीक्षक किंवा इन्स्पेक्टर जनरल ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन अँड कंट्रोलर ऑफ स्टॅम्प्स या पदावरती मी आता कार्यरत आहे. आणि या नवोदित जे विद्यार्थी आता सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेससाठी, केंद्रीय सेवांसाठी तयारी करत आहेत, त्यांच्या मार्गदर्शनासाठी मला आज बोलण्याची संधी मिळालेली आहे. त्याबद्दल मी प्रथम आयोजकांचे आभार मानतो. नाउ लेट्स बिगिन द डिस्कशन. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, let me assure all of you that I have been in service for last 16 years, and in these 16 years the journey so far has been really satisfying one, very fulfilling one. I could do lot many things for the people. I could do so many new projects which have impacted the lives of citizens in rural as well as in urban settings, and this opportunity is really once in a lifetime opportunity that anyone can get. But on the same time, when you are making a choice for your career, that time you have to be really clear about why you are making that particular career choice, as well as you need to understand the changing scenario regarding the civil services, the changing times, what further changes that are going to come to the civil services. So let me begin by just narrating certain facts and perspective about the changes that are expected in the bureaucracy by the time you will all be joining the civil services, if you do. So if you look at the scenario, is that when liberalization happened in 90s, that time the first decade was the professionalization of private sector and industrial sector was seen. Subsequently, in the decade that followed 2000 to 2010, it was the financial sector which professionalized. 2010 onwards, it was expected that the government sector would professionalize, but unfortunately it was the social sector which professionalized first. The health institutions, the educational institutions, the agriculture sector, the insurance and all other sectors now have professionalized, gone on to IT platforms, have started using modern techniques and tools for management, and now it is the turn in this decade for the professionalization of the government services. So as we enter into the 20th decade, the second decade of this century, I think this is going to be our turn, the administrative and bureaucratic services turn to professionalize. And so when you are going to join, you should have a full understanding of what is in store for you. What do you mean by professionalization? That means you will be expected to be well versed with IT and ITES platforms, services, use of social media, yet simultaneously you will be expected to understand various domain technical knowledge. You will be expected to understand financing techniques, and simultaneously the most important change that is going to come is in the accountability and responsibility structures. Up till now, we were all shielded by a principle of collective responsibility, and most of the government programs we have seen that they could not deliver the 100% promise that they envisaged, and still nobody was held accountable or responsible. That's because we were all collectively responsible for the success or of failure of a program. But henceforth, when we talk of professionalization, we will start analyzing individual performance, and we will start fixing individual accountabilities and responsibilities. That will ensure that any failure would be marked on a particular person. That means we will have to be prepared for facing successes and failures independently, individually, and that would make us much more competitive, much more accountable to our positions and accountable to the decisions that we take. And this is what is expected to be the major change that is going to come into services. The specialization has already begun in policy making level at the joint secretary and above. the experimentation with the lateral entry has already started. More and more officers are opting to do higher courses, and expertise is getting generated into specific subjects and departments. Urbanization is going to be the key in the next few years, and people will be expected to understand all these things. With the advancement of IT and ITES services, with artificial intelligence coming in, with Industry 4.0 coming in, everything is going to get adopted even in government services, and we will all be expected to be well versed with this. So at the onset of this decade, I would say that those who are making a career choice of civil services should not join the civil services with the earlier erstwhile expectation that वन्स गव्हर्नमेंट सर्व्हिस मध्ये एकदा आपण आलो की आपल्याला अगदी निवांत आयुष्य मिळणार आहे, छान गाडी बंगला मिळणार आहे, सरकारी नोकरी असणार आहे आणि निवांतपणे काम करता येऊ शकेल. अनफॉर्च्युनेटली दॅट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी द केस. Many of us really work hard and they will be expected to work harder. Political awareness is going to go on increasing, political assertiveness is going to go on increasing, and parallelly the citizenry is also going to be more and more aware, and that citizenry is going to enforce its will. Eventually it will ask its political representatives to get the due that they expect to get, and that will be pressurized, we will be enforced through the political bosses to be delivered through the bureaucratic systems. So I think the challenging times lay ahead of us. I'm not going to discourage you, because as I stated at the beginning, that the journey so far has been really exciting one, very satisfying one, and you get to do and create an impact at a massive scale. Let me start by narrating my background in which I joined the services. I come from a very humble middle class, lower middle class background from urban area. I belong to a place called Dombivli, which is a suburb of Mumbai Central Line, and I've grown to a state in which Dombivli was a wonderful small laid back town, but suddenly, because of rapid and erratic urbanization, because of lack of planning at that time, it suddenly transformed into very haphazard, erratically grown and badly planned urban habitat. So I have grown to the fact that how urbanization should not happen, or how a urban habitat gets destroyed, and that's how it has shaped my social sensitivities. You need to search what is your social sensitivity. Why do you want to join the services? Because unless you are very clear what shapes your sensitivity, what brings the excitement in your eyes for joining this service, is going to determine how you are going to act and work inside the service. So first of all, your choices are going to get determined by your own sensitivities of your own surroundings in which you have developed yourself, and you are going to join the services in that background. I joined with this urban understanding and with an ability, with a possibility that I could join these services, I could impact. Because when I was growing up, I saw multiple young officers joining services and creating an impact. At that time, those were commissioners, those were police officers, and those who created an impact in a young impressible mind. That's how I decided to join the services. Apart from that, on one side you have to enter the service, so for that you will be required to focus on your preparedness, your preparations. It's not just hard work, but it is to be smart work as well. But apart from that, it's a test of your attitude, your tenacity, and your ability to really react to the situation. What I mean by doing all these things is I have seen so many colleagues who used to prepare along with me, and some of them were really brilliant students, but unfortunately they could not get into the services. Maybe it was because of they lacked certain skills of expression, understanding the question and writing the appropriate answer to that question, or elaborating an answer during an interview in a systematic manner, or catching the expected thread that was expected out of an essay, or in general studies also being able to complete the paper in time by choosing the proper words for expressing an answer which was expected to have been written in 20 words or 100 words or 200 words. So we are supposed to be precise, and hence we have to be trained into an ability to express ourselves precisely in the given amount of time and given amount of words. And if we can't do that, we are going to perish. Secondly, we all, unlike North Indian students or South Indian students whose education systems are aligned with the Union Public Service Commission's syllabi, we are unlike them. We are used to a different pattern of writing examinations. So we will have to first train ourselves to align to the expectations of the UPSC and expectations of the services. Parallelly, this exam is really grueling exam. The number of people who are joining this examination, I'm not saying joining the service, but the number of people appearing for service is so huge that everybody is thinking that this is one exam wherein I can prepare in a systematic manner, I can push myself to the limits, and I can clear this examination. And because of this belief, and because the surrounding space, even though there are so many career options available outside, they are diversified, there are exciting career options available, but they are in the current situation quite amorphous. So we will have to identify what is really happening. We will have to upskill ourselves in certain sectors. But apart from that, if you compare the civil services, the pattern has not changed over too many years. It is set pattern. One can really prepare, slog hard, and if right attitude is there, one can clear. And that's why more and more people are appearing for these services. And with more people appearing for services, you have to be the right person with a right attitude and right preparation, I would say smart preparation, and then only you are going to get it. But it is a test of your attitude as well. Attitude is that you are going to get through the examination by the sheer desire, the sheer force of your character, how strongly you believe that you are the one who is going to get into the examination. You are going to be the one who is going to serve the people, and it should come from within, whether that attitude is there. Yes, I am going to get it, I am going to kill it, मी जिंकणार, हा जो ॲटिट्यूड पाहिजे, तो ॲटिट्यूड आपल्या आतमध्ये खरंच किती संवेदनशीलपणे, किती जिद्दीनं तो ओतप्रोत भरलेला आहे. दिस पॉइंट इज गोइंग टू डिटरमाइन वेदर यू क्लियर इट, and that's why you need to have a strong conviction why you want to join the service, because it's just a career option. Because it's a good career option, it's not going to be sufficient, because it's changing. As I earlier said, that if you are thinking that you are going to just sail through the services just simply, it's not going to be the case. It's going to be really testing, it's going to be really tough. But if you really want to make an impact, make the change into people's lives, then this is your option. And then for that you will have to really be prepared hard mentally, as well as you will have to be very tough physically. Why physically? Because this is a test, this is an exam which goes on all along the year. Now with the pandemic around us, we will have to be ready physically as well. Our body will be tested, our fitness will be tested, our mental fitness will be tested, because if you clear your prelims, you appear for the mains. If you clear your mains, you appear for the interviews. And if you fail at that stage of the interview, you still have to repeat from the beginning, right from the prelims, and there is all likelihood that you will fail the prelims. So it also tests your patience, it tests your mental preparedness. Parallelly, I would just say that one has to be prepared to call it off. Call it off, I mean two things. One has to learn to call it off, that I am prepared on the days prior to your examination. Most of the times, most of us keep on studying till the last moment. We are never confident that I'm really prepared. In reality, nobody is 100% prepared ever. Even if you have studied all the subjects, all the chapters, everything again and again, the syllabus is so vast, you can really practically be never prepared. But then you just have to mentally be prepared, that and call it off. Yes, I am prepared now, I can face the examination, I would know what I have studied, and I would be able to reproduce what I have studied. and that confidence is essential before you appear for the examination day. On the day of examination, you should be able to call it off, yes, I am going to crack it. So that attitude comes when you are able to call it that I am prepared. The second call it off is that when you will quit. This is also equally important. We keep on spending first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt. If you are in reserved category, maybe you will have some more attempts, and we keep on trying and trying and trying. But then, friends, your career is going to be really exciting in whichever career that you go. Such times are around us. So if you are a good cook, you are going to enjoy being the chef, because lot of opportunities opening up in all sectors. I just gave one example. If you are a good coder, a good programmer, you are going to have wonderful, exciting opportunities. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are an agriculturalist, if you are an animal husbandry expert, if you are an astronaut, if you are an architect, if you are a planner, if you are a developer, in all possible sectors there is going to be opportunity. Only thing is that you will have to build your capabilities, you will have to be good, you will have to be able to deliver whichever is your creative idea. You have to be innovative, and you will have to be able to sell your idea with the attitude that you are going to create an impact. So those core principles will always remain if you are professional, if you are willing to take the responsibility and accountability of your decisions. But at the time of preparing for the UPSC, you will have to also set yourself a target. How many attempts? If 2 attempts is what I am going to give it to myself, if I can do it in 2 attempts, it's good. How many more attempts I am going to give myself? Yes, your parents will support you, your society will support you, but you need to give yourself a tough ask, tough challenge. If now or never, that kind of calling off has to be kept in mind sometime. Otherwise it's a long drawn lingering process, and it's really frustrating for the families, for the students themselves, because everybody keeps you around, keeps saying my child is appearing for civil examination. People feel proud, parents feel proud initially, but once you start failing or you start reaching up to the level but not clearing, then slowly the frustration starts coming in, then everybody starts hiding, we start frustrating ourselves. So without getting into that kind of a problematic situation, it's always better to understand. You need to understand to call it off also. So it's an attitude examination. Attitude is going to be tested. How strong-willed you are to get into the service. It's not just getting into the service, but how strong-willed you are to create an impact by coming into the service, and for that how strong your sensitivities are aligned with the requirements of the service and the professionalization requirements of the future service conditions. How efficient are you going to be by coming into the service, in whichever service that you are going to join. What is going to be your attitude at that stage is going to be decided when you are appearing for the examination. The right attitude, the winning spirit, the strong urge to succeed, that is what I expect you to have. That you need to be struggling just to get success, and not by hook or crook, but by the fairest of the means, by preparing yourself hard, preparing yourself smartly, having a right attitude, giving it a full fight, understanding the whole process correctly, analyzing your options, choosing the correct options, and going right at it. Friends, apart from services, I think these are the exciting times outside as well. I just touched upon this briefly earlier, but I would like to elaborate it further. This is the era, or this is the decade, or maybe next 3 decades are going to be the decades of urbanization. Our cities are going to flourish, our cities are going to grow faster, and we will see more and more people moving to the cities. And when cities grow, they create more and more opportunities for people in innovative professions. So there are going to be lot of professions. If you are coming from rural hinterland, if you are coming from smaller towns, don't get disheartened. You just have to keep your eyes open and be on the lookout of various opportunities that are opening up around you. Jobs are going to get scarce, they are going to get limited, but opportunity for entrepreneurship, creativity, innovativeness, and startups is going to be humongous. There are people who are starting up with small businesses in their backyards, in their small one room kitchen flats, in their garages, in their storehouses, in their minds themselves, where they are creating values which were unimaginable. And that is what is going to be much more exciting. Even if you join the service, you are going to be like an entrepreneur, building your career, impacting citizens in a large numbers. Likewise, if you are creating something which is going to impact large number of people, the Mark Zuckerberg never imagined that his Facebook would impact so many lives. Likewise, you are going to create such innovations outside as well. It could be a small food innovation, it could be a small design innovation, it could be an urban space design, town planning innovation, it could be an IT innovation, it could be anything. It could be financial tool, it could be a tool like a Bitcoin. It is going to transform the world. And such myriad and huge number of opportunities lie ahead of you. You just have to be truly convinced what your true passions are, what your true sensitivities are, and you have to follow those paths which are driven by your passion, which are driven by your heart, which are driven by your strong urge to succeed in those areas. If you carry forward these kind of vision, if you carry forward these kind of mental attitudes, I think any field in which you enter is going to give you enough and sufficient success. Dear friends, there are so many people who will be competing. Finally, I would say that your competition is not with the people you see around you. It's a competition at the national level, or outside it is even at the bigger level. 10 lakh students appear for this examination, and to really succeed you will have to think of making it a cooperative effort. You are lucky that you are on the platform of Jnana Prabodhini, and you can actually think of delivering together. So if you are working in a group, help each other to work better, share your knowledge. Sharing gives it much more better understanding to yourself, and it will help you boost each other. I'll just at the end share a simple example. How do this long distance cycling races go? Have you ever watched Tour de France? It's a team effort. It's never a single man's effort to win that Tour de France. And how do they pace themselves? If you have seen or watched closely, a person starts breaking away from the group and suddenly he starts cycling, pedaling very faster. All others start catching up. He's setting the pace, he's taking the pace ahead. When he starts tiring, he just gives a flick of the right wrist. The rider behind him observes it, and he starts racing ahead. He starts setting the pace, he overtakes that person and goes ahead. And likewise, the entire group starts racing ahead faster till they reach the last 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile section, when everybody is on their own, when everybody has to give their individual push. But overall, the race has become very faster. If you run a slow race, you will be left out of the race very early. But if you are in the fast moving pack which is pushing each other to success, I think everybody will move towards success together. And this is what you need to do. You are in a group, you are at a good platform where you are not competing with one another, you are competing with a larger audience, larger competition outside. You have to stick together, you have to pace each other, you have to speed up each other, you have to support each other, and make sure that everybody is winning that race. So friends, I think I will not take much time. I think you are all making right choices about your career. Those who make the choice about civil services should give their best shot at it. It's like, this is going to be the shot of my life, and I'm going to give the best of that my character can offer. All the best to all of you. जाता जाता एकच गोष्ट सांगतो की अनेक वेळेला आपल्या मनामध्ये नैराश्य देखील येईल, आणि त्यावेळेला ज्या वेळेला नैराश्य येतं त्यावेळेला मी माझ्या स्वतःला कायम एक गोष्ट सांगत होतो. ती गोष्ट आपण सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे, पण ती कायम म्हणत राहिलो मी, ती तुम्ही देखील लक्षात ठेवा. मैं हूँगा कामयाब, मैं हूँगा कामयाब आज के दिन, मैं हूँगा कामयाब आज के दिन, होगी शक्ति चारों, शांती मनाच्या आतमध्ये पाहिजे, पण शक्ती आपल्याला पाहिजे. म्हणून मी स्वतःला म्हणायचं, होगी शक्ति चारों ओर, होगी शक्ति चारों ओर, आज के दिन मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, मैं होऊंगा कामयाब आज के दिन. सगळ्यांना जिंकायचं आहे. एव्हरीबडी मस्ट एम ऑफ विनिंग. ऑल द बेस्ट. थँक्यू.